Okay, now we're going to start working on the neck. I've got 2 pages from the plans showing the full-size headstock and the neck pocket and the end of the neck. And I'm going to just trim these down so it'll be easier to glue onto the wood. And you can see I just trimmed it down, and we've got it marked here where the center line is going to be. Make sure that your center line that we're going to mark on the wood, that you've got it wide enough, and make sure your stock is thick enough as well. So I'm just going to measure out and draw my center line. And you also, when you measure out this center line, make sure that the width at the neck pocket is wide enough, and that you've also got enough room to put the headstock on the other end. So here I'm just marking the center line in. And then I can line up the neck pocket and the headstock and keep everything straight. You see how the headstock will go at that end, and I'll still have plenty of wood there at the end that it will fit as well. Now I've got a mark on the plans at the 12th fret, and I'm going to use some spray adhesive, and I'm just going to spray this in place. I just spray a little on the back of the paper, let it dry, and then just tack it down to the board. And now I can measure the distance from the nut to the 12th fret. And you want to be pretty precise with this measurement. Then I'm going to draw that line there, and then I can use that to register where I want to put the headstock template. And now double check this measurement and make sure you've got it right from the nut to the 12th fret. It should be half your scale length. Now I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to draw over this and cut out the template right where that line's going to be. And now I've trimmed up the headstock. I've got my center line marked, and I've got it cut where the bottom of the nut should be. And like before, I'm just going to take some spray adhesive and tack the headstock template down again. And then for the third time, I'm just going to double check the measurement on that nut to the 12th fret and make sure I've got the right length there. And once I do, I'm just going to sort of connect the dots on the 2 templates from the outside edge of the neck so that I've got that taper right down to the neck pocket. Okay, now you can take a jigsaw. I'm going to use a coping saw, and I'm just going to go around and just cut that line out. Now before I get too far, I'm going to go ahead and cut the holes for the tuners. Okay, you want to take your tuners and also the bushings on the top, and make sure you've got a drill bit large enough to fit that bushing. That's usually the widest point. You want to get it as close as you can. Those need to fit pretty snug. And clamp this down, and I've got my layout on my headstock of where I want the holes to be. I'm just a matter of drilling through all 6 of the tuners. I'm going to make sure that the bushings will fit in there. You don't want these loose. Again, you want them really snug. And once you've got your holes drilled through, just want to test to make sure you've got the alignment right. And now the shaft on these tuners you want to measure that thickness so that you've got the right amount protruding above the headstock, and this will get you a thickness of what you want the headstock to be. Now I'm going to mark this thickness, and remember to mark it from the back. We're actually going to cut off the top of the headstock, sort of the front face, if you will. I want the thickness of the headstock that remains to be from the back up. And now, being that this is a curved surface, on most of it anyway, I'm actually going to draw this line in. Do as best you can with a ruler. If you have something flexible, some heavy cardstock that you've got a good straight edge on, would be good to go around the curved parts. You can see here where I'm drawing my line. And now you've got, you want to carry around this line is actually the top of the nut. And we're going to curve that down at that edge. And then I'm going to draw the center line on this side as well. And here's where I want to use a sort of a heavy piece of cardstock just to lay it in there with a nice straight edge and mark those curved areas. You can see how sort of the heavy part of that can curve around there. And then again, I'm just going to give myself a rough idea of where that curve's going to go. And again, that's from the top of the nut down to the headstock. I'm going to double check that my thickness is good so that I'll have the right amount of the tuners showing at the top, so that you can get the strings on. And then I'm going to clamp this in place. And you can use a variety of saws on this. I'm actually using a little Japanese saw. And you just want to make a slice through here down to where that curve starts. Don't go all the way down to the nut. You can see I've stopped short there. And then for that curve part, I'm actually just going to take a coping saw and just carefully cut out the rest of that curve. And you just kind of want to rough it in, leave yourself some room so that you have some material to sand off and shape it the way you want.